Hi, my name is Abraar Karan, and I'm a junior political science major in pre-med at Yale. I volunteered with Unite for Sight two summers ago, summer of 2008, in Chennai, India, where I pursued a research study. My research study was focused on the use of visual aid in addition to informed consent for cataract surgery for patients in the Hyundai Eye Hospital through the UMA Eye Clinic. I was working with Dr. Hilton Mayer from the Yale School of Medicine. He's an ophthalmologist here, as well as Dr. Tamarasan Senthil, who's the program coordinator in Chennai. And so there are several aspects to doing a research study. I had to get IRB approval from my school. I had to plan out the project with my advisor. There are several stages to doing this. I started two or three months before my program. We kind of designed the whole study, got the approval from the school, talked about it with Jennifer Staple as well as with Dr. Senthil so that we were all on the same page before I got into India. And so I'd say about a month before I got into India, I had everything set up and ready to go. And then once I got on site, we started the study. So the study was basically, it was splitting up two groups of patients. Total number of patients was 60, 30 patients in each group. The group that was receiving the intervention basically was the group that received a visual aid, a poster that we made that would make understanding cataract surgery a little bit easier, just like the basics behind cataract surgery, what surgery is, the risks and benefits associated with surgery, the actual procedure of surgery. And so we wanted to see if using this visual aid, this poster, would make it easier for patients who come from disadvantaged backgrounds that didn't have as much formal education or that might be illiterate. If this would help them in understanding, what goes into cataract surgery, just to stay within the boundaries of medical ethics when using interventions on a vulnerable population. And so what we did was we had the group of 30 patients that would come in to the Hyundai Eye Hospital. They're scheduled for cataract surgery, and we would present them with this poster. Now, the way we tested the efficacy of the poster was through a questionnaire that we had. Originally, we started with an open-ended questionnaire. That was a multiple choice and open-ended questionnaire that was basically asking questions about surgery, what happens during the procedure, what are the risks and benefits, and what is a cataract, just basic questions like that any patient undergoing cataract surgery should be familiar with. During these first few weeks, which I guess you can call kind of the pilot study, we found it was difficult to use a multiple choice questionnaire because patients were illiterate. They weren't able to, the translator had to read the questionnaire out to the patients, and so it was very difficult for them to keep track of all the answers. So, mid-study, or I suppose after the pilot study, I revamped the study and made it a true-false questionnaire, which made it easier on the patients to keep track of the questions and answers. And so that's something to keep in mind if you're doing a study. You might have it all planned out, you might have it ready to go, but when you get to the field, chances are you're going to have to fiddle around with it and change it to adjust it to your surroundings. So after that, we had the true-false questionnaire. So the way we did this study was we first would have the patients prior to any knowledge or any informed consent, we'd have the patients take this quiz just to see kind of what their level of knowledge was. And we did this for both patients, the patients in Group A that got the poster intervention, as well as the patients in Group B who just had a verbal informed consent, just a standard one. And so we had the patients first take the quiz, and then after they took the quiz, we'd have patients in Group A would have a translator read out a script to them and also show them a poster with these images. And then patients in Group B would have the same translator read out the same scripted informed consent without the poster. And so after this informed consent, we would have the patients then take the quiz again, the same quiz. We wouldn't tell them that the quiz was going to be the same. And so they couldn't just think about the answer or listen for the answer while they were listening to the informed consent. And after this, we would have the patients would then go in for surgery, and then 1 day post-operatively, we would be able to contact the patients as they're still in the hospital, and we then presented the quiz to them one more time to see what their level of understanding or comprehension or memory was 1 day after receiving this informed consent. And so we compared results between the two groups of 30 at these 3 testing time points. There was difficulty sometimes, due to lack of personnel. At times it was difficult to contact all patients post-operatively, so we had a higher dropout rate than we'd wanted in terms of retesting on 1 day post-operatively. And we could have used a larger patient size. I was there for 2 months, so I was kind of limited in my duties as a volunteer and also doing this research project. Typically I'd do the volunteer work in the mornings, and when we got back from camp then I'd have to rush to the hospital to try to get the study going. So it was difficult balancing both volunteering as well as doing the study. Additionally, I'd say, so the results that we got from this study were that there was a significant increase in score between testing points 1 and 3. So basically, patients who their scores from pre-informed consent to 1 day post-operative was significantly higher in the group that had the poster as compared to the group that did not have the poster. And so we can then say that it was because of the poster, holding all other variables constant, that these patients had a greater comprehension of cataract surgery. If you are volunteering for Unite for Sight and are interested in doing a research study, it'll be a very enriching experience, but there are definitely things that I can recommend just from my own experience. Louder?
Yeah, yes, please.
Just from my own experience, there's a few things that I can recommend for people interested in doing a research study. I'd say you definitely want to run your study by 1 or more advisors who can really look at areas in which you might not think about, but later when you present your study at a conference or submit it to a journal, they'll be asking you about. Especially if you're doing like a case control study in which you want to hold everything constant, like there's things that you won't readily think about at first that your advisor could definitely help you with. Definitely contact whatever country you're going to, contact the personnel there and make sure that there are people that are going to be able to help you, that there are enough staff members with the free time to help you get your study done, because as you'll know, working in a different environment, in a different culture, in a different country, as you see in all the readings that are required for Unite for Sight, there are a lot of cultural things that are different in other countries. The way, like the efficiency level that you might see at a university might not be emulated in different settings, such as rural areas where doctors' main focus is going to be their patients and not the study you're trying to do. So really make sure that you're doing something that's realistic, that you'll be able to complete in time. Don't take on too much, because as much as you are doing a study and volunteering, you also want to enjoy your time in another country, learn as much as you can, and really connect with the people and the patients there. In terms of preparing, you should get your materials as prepared as possible, but always leave room for change. Just as in my study, I changed my questionnaire from multiple choice to true/false. In your study, several things like this are bound to occur, just to fit in with the environment that you're in, and it's impossible to know what they'll be until you get to the field. So really keep that in mind. Have backup plans. And if you don't end up finding what you expected from your study, don't be disheartened. Any research, whatever it has to say, whether it's affirmative or not, is good research that's going to help the people that you're working with. So just know that whatever your project is, just work hard, believe in it. Make sure you have the right backup, the right help from staff and faculty members.